Hey, good evening, guys. Welcome back to National High School Football or nationalhsfb.com. I'm your host, Larry Godwin. Along with me for the ride tonight is my counterpart in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, Joe Maimone from Prep Gridiron Logistics. And we have no stranger to the show tonight. Coach, Joe and I were just talking about it. You're becoming a regular on
Hey
this
man,
video podcast. Guys, you know him, Coach Job Jusa from Joseph, I'm sorry, from Miami Central head coach. Coach, you got me so excited about your program that a little flabbergasted tonight.
hey man, it's
Uh,
cool. I appreciate y'all for having me again. Anytime I get to talk Rocket football, that's always a pleasure.
Coach, let's
Hey,
kick
you.
this thing off by showing you a graphic as this Joe flying all the way down there to
Yeah,
Miami to present you with the national championship trophy after an outstanding season
yeah.
last year, a 14-0 campaign. How's it feel to be a national champion?
It's a great feeling, man. I just appreciate NationalHighSchoolFootball.com for recognizing what we did last year as a program, going undefeated, playing a national schedule, defeating three top 25 teams in the country. And I always tell people, there's multiple polls, that are credible and that are looking at high school football and National High School Football was one of those polls that rolled the dice on us and respected the body of work that we had put out as a program that season, and they voted us number one. So it's a great feeling.
Absolutely.
Hey, Coach, are you wearing your national championship ring?
Oh no, I'm not
Oh,
actually.
come on, man! I wanted to
Yeah,
see it.
nah, man, it's not on me right now, man. It's back at the house. I gotta.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to see that baby next time we're together. We gotta wear it.
Yes,
See
sir.
what it looks like.
Yes, sir.
So, Coach, tell us again. We first met you on this broadcast about a year ago, end of
Mhm.
July, early August. Tell me, number one, what the last 12 months have been like, and number two, and tell us more how your spring football season went and what we have in store when we watch the Rockets this season.
I can tell you, the last 12 months. I think the last 11 months have been. I mean, the first month was just celebrating the national championship and being victorious and taking it all in. But the rest was just basically leading up until this point, really getting back on the grind. Our bottle was 4-peat loading all year because we are going for four in a row. The first high school in the state of Florida to win, to go four in a row twice. So it was 4-peat loading, and then 4-peat got loaded, and so now we're on a drive for five, trying to get five in a row. First high school in the state of Florida to get five in a row. So basically, we went right to work after Martin Luther King Day. We just started. Our kids went into the weight room, and our winter workouts went well. Great turnout. Kids really buying into the culture. And then we segued into spring ball. One word I can, I guess, describe spring ball is competitive. Had a lot of key guys, come join the family, so and they understand what's expected of them at many of those positions. I have a quarterback battle that's going on, just multiple position battles that was going on that spring, and we were able to just get better every day within those 20 days of spring football. That's all I can ask those kids to do.
Absolutely. Coach, last year when we had you on the program, we were talking to you about the way you started out last season after your I guess the right word is upset win over IMG, because at the time you were considered the underdog,
Hmm.
and you won that game 20-14, and it really propelled you into a 14-0 season, capped off with a state title and a national championship. Now going into this season, there's no way you're an underdog, going
Ah,
for five straight with a national championship under your belt. And I'm going to bring up Joe's preseason poll, and he's got you ranked number 6 in the preseason poll.
right.
Does your mentality change now that you're not an underdog? You've got to be considered a national favorite now.
Nah, we're underdogs, man.
Okay.
We're underdogs, man.
Still claiming that title. Okay.
We can't claim it. It's placed upon us, man. We're sixth in the country. We're not even top five. So we got work to do. So you know what I'm saying. We know that. We saw the rankings. We understand the task at hand, and shoot, we barely get in. People in our own city feel like we lost a lot, and they think that this is the year the playing field even. And so, hey, we're gonna take that. And we're gonna use that as motivation to know that we're coming in every game and we're gonna give everybody our best shot because they're gonna give us theirs. So we're underdogs. We're coming in there like that, and it ain't a mindset. It ain't a mind frame. It's reality. So about us being number 6, they're telling us that there's 5 teams in America that's better than us.
Okay.
So hey, I mean,
Hey, Larry, one of their hashtags is no free rings.
Oh,
I see that all the time when I'm following Coach on Twitter.
love it.
It's the truth. It's the truth. He knows. I mean, in order to be the best, you have to play the best. What differentiated his team to all the other teams was that win. Not only did they beat IMG, they beat IMG at their own home in Bradenton, Florida.
That's right.
And this year, they're preseason number 6. First game of the season, they're playing preseason number 5, Bishop Gorman, in Las Vegas. So they're basically doing the same thing they did last year. They're playing a top 5 team away. And again, if they beat Bishop Gorman and they win the state of Florida, all those other teams ahead of them play each other during the season. Mater Dei and St. John Bosco play each other twice. St. Francis is playing both Mater Dei and St. John Bosco. IMG plays St. Francis. There's a whole bunch of teams playing each other in front of them. So one of those teams, when they play, has to lose. So, and you know how our poll works. We favor undefeated teams over one-loss teams. So there, it's not where you start; it's where you finish. So
Yeah,
he knows that his hashtag Drive for 5, his hashtag No Free Rings. He gets it, man, and he knows what it's going to take. I don't remember where he started last year, if it was high or low. I just don't remember. I have to pull it up.
I think we were like 14, 15.
Right. So yes, starting this high can only help the cause. And Larry, Coach, tell us in a year's time. I want to see how does this team? I know it's kind of early, but this time last year versus today, what team do you favor? Are you better than you were this year? Are you right where you were at? Where do you stand?
I think that this team is still gelling in a sense where because hats off to the kids from last year, as far as because those guys were together for about 3 years, but last year also we have a lot of guys returning from last year's team. Believe it or not, we had a lot of babies on defense last year. We had played a lot of 9th graders and 10th graders, a lot of freshmen and sophomores who are now sophomores and juniors. So they're just kind of like taking on different roles. It's not even an aspect of football that's really something to take notice of. It's really just the aspect of the locker room, the leadership. Guys who aren't used to being leaders are now being called to be leaders, and and that's just going to come with time. Leaders aren't born; they're built. So and that's just going to be something that's just going to take some time. I recall last year I had the same situation around the same time with guys who I had to ask them to step up and be leaders, and it's those growing pains of in order to be a good leader, you got to be okay with not being liked. So, some of those things with teenagers, you go through those little growing pains. But I think that this team is right on track to, if not eclipse, what this last year team did. Because one thing that stands out to me is their continuity with one another and their maturity. This team is very mature, and their football IQ is very high because they were thrown into that fire early. As far as you got to think about it, you're a freshman in high school. Your first game is at IMG. You didn't even get to play JV football. So, those growing pains is good for them. And so now I guess this year we're reaping the benefits of that.
And Larry, they're as far as 247 goes and rivals, those recruiting sites, their top 2 players, that are 5-star players, are both juniors.
Mm-hmm.
Blunt and Wallace.
Right.
They're both juniors, Larry. He's got a bunch of 4 and 3 stars, but mostly they're seniors. But his top 2 players, according to the recruiting services, are rising juniors. So just think about what next year is going to hold for them.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Coach, speaking of next year, I read this fascinating article written by someone named Andy Villamarzo back in June of this year. It appeared on sblive.com.
Mm-hmm.
And the title, it caught my attention. It says 7 reasons why the Miami Central Rockets could win a national championship. So he goes on and lists 7 reasons. He says the Rockets are loaded, and we give 7 reasons why they may be the best in the country once the smoke settles in 2023. And then he starts the prelude to the article. I mean, he makes this outstanding statement. He says this year could be even better than last year. You agree? Is this a writer that is just a little overzealous, or do you think this year is better than last year's team?
Like I said, these guys, I mean, it looks good on paper.
Yeah.
Looks good on paper. Don't let my kids hear that. I hope my kids don't even read that article. But this is a talented group right here. And my boy Joe knows, man. One thing I give Joe knows ball. You know what I'm saying? And when Joe said, like, yo, his top talented guys, like, they're juniors. They're coming back. You know what I'm saying? So, like, this is a very talented group, but on paper, and I got to keep reiterating that to them.
Yep.
Football's not played on paper. It's played on the field. So, we'll see.
Hey, Coach, I have a question. I've been chomping at the bit to ask you this since we scheduled the call. So everybody, when you start doing really, really well, the haters come out. There's a saying, if you ain't got no haters, you're not popping. So,
Right.
So when you won that national championship, not only in Miami but around the country, there's a lot of hating going on for whatever reasons, and and when you do well and you achieve a lot like you have, kids want to come play for you. I know that up here in New Jersey, when Don Bosco was winning national championships, there were kids from like Texas and Ohio moving here to try to play for them. And you've had some really high profile transfers. You had the Cunningham twins. You had the quarterback Evans from Texas, the quarterback Kritza from California, the Killian quarterback who wanted to play for you. My question to you is, and I've been waiting for a long time to ask you this: if you don't win the national championship last season, would all those kids have still called you?
I think the one of the biggest things that I said when I took over the program was to enhance the brand nationally. That was my biggest thing, because winning is already mandatory. Some schools it's mandatory to win district championships. Some schools it's mandatory to go deep in the playoffs. Here at Miami Central, it's mandatory to win state championships. So you kind of got to set different goals. And our goal last year was to, not only just play in national games, but to win them and convincingly, as well as to compete for a national championship. And I think that the old adage goes, if you build it, they will come. And we have a very high presence on the internet, as far as social media and things of that nature. As far as we have the best videos, the best uniforms, the best flyers. We like to think of ourselves as University of Miami Central. We try to mimic ourselves in the sense of a college and how they promote the kids. And that's all I want to do is put them on major platforms and get them on, get them exposure, for where networks and like you guys and yourselves can, promote them and then promote the program. And, through promotion comes exposure and people want to be a part of the culture. And because, Miami Central is a wonderful community, wonderful football community, a historic program in the city of Miami. So, that just happens with it.
Coach, along those lines of what you and Joe are talking about there, let's talk about your quarterback play coming into this season. You're losing an outstanding quarterback, from last year in Keon Jenkins, and so, but you don't have a shortage of talent.
Yeah.
According to this article, you got a 3-way quarterback battle in J.C. Evans, Beckham Kritza, and Antonio Smith.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, all 3 are transferred, I think, into your system this year. I think what Joe kind of related to what Joe was asking about. When you have a stellar program like you've built now, and you're going for your 5th straight, to me, it makes sense that you're going to get phone calls from a lot of outstanding athletes. And this is just proof of that. Now, based on these 3 potential quarterbacks, what kind of skill set do they have? All 3 have similar skill sets, or what is it that you're looking at? Can you give us an insight who the front runner is?
Oh, I mean, they all have a fair shot at it. I mean, you got to think about it. We're this late into the summer, and we're still kind of evaluating. But I think they all have different things to the offense. They bring different. They all have different superpowers. JC kind of reminds me of your former quarterback that went to UM. I forgot his name. That was at Lowndes.
Oh, you talk about Michael Barrett.
No,
is that the one that went to UM?
the kid.
He's the one that went to Michigan. Yeah.
No, not UM. Miami, man.
Ja'Cory Brown.
Ja'Cory Brown. Yeah, that's him. Reminds me of Ja'Cory Brown, as far as like his mobility, extend plays with his legs. Super cerebral kid, knows the offense in and out. Beckham Kritza, arm talent, tremendous. You know what I'm saying? And you can tell that he's really been broken down since he was a kid at the actual quarterback position. I really feel like South Florida needs to see a quarterback like him as well. Because his size and his intangibles, we haven't seen something like that in a while. And then you got a homegrown kid and Antonio Smith, a coach's son. Man, that kid, one thing about him, he's acclimated to South Florida football, and arm power is out the wazoo. He may lack the size of both guys who are 6'5" and 6'4", but as far as arm talent and as far as just him being a gamer, some things that you just can't check those boxes off on paper, but you can check them off on that field. Yeah, he's got it too. So, they're doing a great job of giving my offensive coordinator, my quarterback coach, hell as far as who's going to be, the guy. And that's their job to do every single day. And I always tell them, you're not just being evaluated on how you can throw the football or run the offense, but it's also on how you can lead the team and how does the locker room get behind you, because those are essential attributes that we're looking for in a quarterback as well.
Hey, and Larry, one of the quarterbacks that coach just mentioned, Beckham Kritza from Cali, he's a rising junior.
Yeah.
He's class of 25, so he still has time.
Right.
Yeah. So, Coach, tell us more about the players. We talked about the 2 5-stars, Blunt and Wallace. Tell us more about your 4 stars, guys like Cunningham, Howard, McCoy, Shavers, Marcelin. Give us a quick, when we watched the game against Bishop Gorman, tell us who you think is going to pop out at us.
Okay, well, first and foremost, I know everybody's quick to talk about the 4 stars and the 3 stars and all that. The first thing that we hang our hats on here at Miami Central is that all 5 of our offensive linemen are coming back starters. These guys are 3-year starters, 3-time champions, and Tico Schultz, Luke Moyes, William Rothmiller, Albert Jones, and Javen Darby. Those guys, all 5 of them come back. So that's stellar in itself. Now, are these guys 24/7 profile guys? No, but are these guys essential high school football players that are going to go play college ball on the next level? Yes. And then, of course, we got our one of our superstar playmakers, LaWayne McCoy, who shredded up the 7-on-7 circuit, 4-star kid. He's the one who made the key interception against IMG last year to win the game. He's a 2-way player, really going to make some noise this year and be a focal point of our offense. We also have Vincent Shavers, 4-star linebacker committed to the University of Miami, going to be one of those anchors on that defense. Ezekiel Marcelin, also a 3-year starter, class of 2025. One of the anchors on the defense as well, defensive line-wise. Of course, you have Armando Blunt, who's been doing a tremendous job in our trenches. Really learning the culture, really learning how to practice at a high level on a continuous basis. He's going to have a marquee year, or maybe people may not think about who's going to be his counterpart on the next to him, Randy Adarica. That's 6'4", 250-pound, class of 2025, ESPN top 300, 4-star defensive tackle. He's going to be somebody that we're going to be able to hang our hats on as well. And then, as far as in our secondary, we've got Mari Wallace, who's a 4-star, or he's a Max Preps All-American. And I have Javari Flowers, who's a incoming class of 2026, 6-foot defensive back. Let me tell you something. We've got some guys here. I've got one of my running backs, Kaj Nitro Baker, probably, if not the fastest freshman in the United States of America. And then you can check the track times for that. We've got an explosive offense and we've got a stingy defense. And these guys, and the beauty of it is, a large majority of these guys are young, 2025, 2026, Karan Maycock, those type of guys, man. And I look forward to seeing these guys step into the light that they work so hard to turn on.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, every year, every coach I ever talk to, they talk about, their team usually sets an identity early on in the preseason, building up to the summer, and then going into the summer, springboarding into the fall. Have you identified what's the identity of your team this year? I mean, are they? Is it a do they know? I'm sure they know they're a fantastic team. Are they a grinded out mentality type team, or are they expecting to win, or what's special about your kids this year? What's the identity going to be?
I mean, our identity, I'll be honest with you, is that they know what's at hand. They have the underdog mentality.
Okay.
Point blank, period. They understand what's at the task at hand. They break every day on dominate, leave no question, leave no doubt. They want to make sure that they're not only just winning, but they're winning big, and they're going to do that by showcasing the best versions of themselves. They're trying to be, if anything, the undisputed national champions. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah,
and that's what's on their mind, and they're working towards that, and then every single day, because they know they hear the whispers, they know the conversations, which is like, well, in this composite poll you're this, and then in this poll you're that. Well, guess what? Through our play, there's gonna be no conversations no more. Our kids are like, yo, we'll end the conversation for you through our play. So our kids they're automatically grinders, period. That's just the neighborhood that they come from. They come from a blue collar neighborhood, work hard. They know that. That's what Central hangs their hats on, is that our separations and our preparation, why they work hard as we do. So that's automatic. But now they got a chip on their shoulder. And I know a lot of people may think, you guys won a national championship, how do you got a chip on your shoulder? The great ones always find one. And guess what? They've got that chip on their shoulder, and they're ready to roll. They hear all the whispers.
Love it.
Hey, Larry, there's another hashtag that Coach uses, hashtag neighborhood heroes. So this community, I mean, he's talking about it right now. The kids who are third, fourth, fifth, sixth graders all noticed what happened last year. And, now the goal is when you get to grow up to be a big boy, it's to go to Miami Central.
Yes,
Coach,
sir.
Coach, I have to ask you this, because I just hear it in your voice, and it just begs the question. Even after an outstanding season last year, you finished poll in Joe's poll number 1 in the nation, but you finished in other polls number 4, number 5, that area. And I can just hear it in your voice that you used the word underdog again going into this season. Is it fair for me to ask this question? Do you feel like your Miami Central team has been disrespected?
Disrespected is an understatement. And we understand that. And we've held that. Kudos to National High School Football, and being that one poll to make the right choice. And it's always respect for that. But it goes without saying, understanding, this game is played on the field. There's no what ifs or if ands or maybe coulda, shoulda, woulda. It's the bottom line. Win or lose. Did you win or did you lose?
Yeah.
That is it. It's not how you won. It's not if you won. It's not who got hurt. It's did you win or did you lose? If you're a pollster, that's how you should rate your polls. You shouldn't even watch the game. You should go to sleep, wake up and say, hey, did they win or lose? And then that's how you should rank your poll.
That's right, and we did.
Yeah, absolutely.
We did it, and it's Coach is absolutely right. Who's ever heard of? I could see if there's 4 or 5 teams, like in college, it's very hard to go undefeated throughout the season, and a lot of college national championships are won by teams with 1 loss. I get that, but there's 16,000 high school football teams. Right. In my opinion, the number 1 team in America needs to be undefeated. I'm sorry.
Somebody asked me, they said, do you think like your strength of schedule affected the other posters? And I was like, well, we played 3 teams in the top 25 in America. Who else are we supposed to play? The Dolphins? Like, come on.
So, Coach, let's talk about your schedule next year. It's a good segue. So we talked about first game of the season, flying out to Las Vegas to play Bishop Gorman. But Larry, this is the 3rd time these 2 teams have played.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is basically the grudge match because it's 1-1 right now.
Mhm.
And then they play preseason number 7. They host Chaminade Madonna. And what's interesting about Chaminade Madonna is last year they went to Las Vegas and got destroyed by Bishop Gorman. So in the Geico Bowl at the end of the season.
Mhm.
So, Coach, I mean, I'm sure you know Damian Jones. He could tell you about his experience. You're playing basically almost the same team that he did about how many, whatever, 8 months ago.
Yeah.
So, and then you got the Miami, the Dade schedule with BTW, Northwestern, and Norland. So,
Yeah.
talk about your schedule.
I think for us, besides the national games, you're just getting into like the Miami-Dade County games, the South Florida games in itself. People may take it for granted, but there's some great football being played down here. Be it on the up year or down year, you just never know. You got to be on point every single week because they're gonna give you their best shot. And so that's right there. Those in town games, Miami Northwesterns, Booker T. Washingtons, those type of games. Those are heck you never even know because American Heritage we end up playing them in the championship.
Hmm.
So
That's right.
that's not a given as well. So you got to respect the South Florida football. Now, as far as like the national games, even Chaminade's down here. Chaminade does a great job as far as what they've
Hmm.
been doing the past couple of years. And they've got some elite players, some
Hey,
elite
Coach,
players.
and
Huh?
Chaminade this season is playing St. Francis
Mm-hmm.
and Bergen Catholic.
Yep. Yep.
So they win those 2 games and you beat them. I mean, it all works to your favor.
Right. Right. And they do a great job over there. So hats off to them. That should be a good one, especially for the community down
Hmm.
in South Florida. People have been wanting to wait to see this game for a while now. So we're just giving people what they want. Great. Hats off to Damon Jones for making that happen. And the Bishop Gorman game. Yeah, you're right. We won one. They won one, and this should be a pretty good game as well. I always jump at the chance anytime I get a chance to get some kids out of the inner city and get them on a plane to go across the country to see some new things. I will always do that because
Yeah.
these are memories that they're creating for a lifetime. And one thing about Miami Central again, man, we'll play you wherever. You know what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
at the end of the day, man, that's what we're here for. There's a national brand, and so we'll take these national games how they come.
Hey, and Coach, I hope you don't mind me telling this story, but Larry, Coach, when it came to the best national game this season and who he wanted to schedule, he had choices. He decided to go to Vegas to play Bishop Gorman. He also could have hosted Mater Day if he wanted to.
Mm.
That
Yeah,
that opportunity was there, but that goes to tell you what kind of coach he is. Instead of having a home game against a great team, he decided I'm going to go out and play Gorman in Vegas. And last year, Gorman played Mater Day and was winning for like 45 out of the 48 minutes of the game. So he decided to play as good a team on the road than hosting a very good team.
right. That's the thing about it. My kids take my personality. They know, man, anywhere, anytime, any day. And we take that on, and we know that. When you put on this green and white, you know that you're signing up to play some of the best games in the United States of America any given week.
And Coach, the first time we ever met with you, you mentioned about what your goal was, and it's all about building bonds and memories. So that's what these trips, that's what they do. I mean, yeah, you could have hosted a great team like Mater Day. Those would have been some good memories. But getting on a plane and traveling to Vegas and and just experiencing Vegas and playing at an unbelievable venue like Bishop Gorman, it is a beautiful venue right out in the desert there. I've been there several times. That's what it stands for. You are building bonds and memories that will last forever. Other coaches in the nation who don't do this need to take note because you're doing all the right things and you're winning national championships and state championships while doing it.
Right. Like you guys gotta understand, man. Some of our fondest memories as men are when we were out there on that gridiron playing ball. No matter how old we get, we're gonna always remember those fond memories
Yep.
and those bonds that were created out there. A lot of these life lessons that are taught from our coaches, we carry on as men. So if I get an opportunity to just take them on a plane, a lot of my kids haven't never even been on a plane. Some of my kids
Mhm.
don't even have their own bed. You get what I'm saying? So at the end of the
Wow.
day, when I can get them out to see such beautiful. Like I can't wait to see their eyes when they see that stadium, or can't wait to see their eyes when they see that backdrop of mountains. Never seen mountains before. You know what I'm saying? So when you get that experience, and I'm be honest with you, that motivates them to want more out of life because they never seen it. So when they do see it, they know that there's more out there for them, and that's just us using football as a vessel to assist them in being best versions of themselves later on in life.
Hey, just
Coach,
make sure you keep them off the Vegas Strip until after the game.
Yeah, man, will do.
Coach, I'm just curious. Now that you mentioned a lot of times some of these kids, this might be their first time on a plane. You know, your program, you've been doing this long enough where you have experience traveling, that kind of stuff. But many of your kids, based on what you said, this might be their first time out to Vegas or first time to this venue or that venue. Do you find your kids when they get to that location, traveling for the first time, do they get deer in the headlights? Are they starstruck, or how do you prepare them mentally to make that type of trip?
And the thing is, that's true. You can't tell because every team is different. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like you can't really tell which team you have until you get there. You know, in the sense of they don't know about the whole time zone change, and they don't know that type of stuff. So it's like when it hits them, they're like, oh man, like I recall a couple years ago we went to St. John Bosco, and beginning of the game they were starstruck, and we knew that. So but like I think this group right here, they're pretty disciplined in their approach, business-like in their approach to a football game. And I think that those exterior factors or elements won't weigh a ton on them because they know the task at hand.
Coach, tell us more about a lot of teams. We have our website and a lot of fans from all over America write about different teams and what they're doing and who they're playing and who's transferring in and out. Is there still does it matter? Is there still a team out there? Is there still a game out there? I mean, you've beaten IMG at IMG. But can anything be better than that? I mean, can you do? I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe if I can get you to go to Texas next year, is there anything? Do you have like a wish list or a bucket list with regard to scheduling?
No, I don't actually. I mean, for me, it's just, man, who's ready to play? Let's play. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. Hey, whoever's ready to play, we'll come to your doorstep and we'll get it on. But you got to be a formidable opponent, though.
Joe, you know what I'm going to say?
Come to Lounge.
Come to Lounge.
Come to Lounge. Yeah, man. So, and that's our thing, man. Like if the opportunity presents itself, we'll chat about it. But like, I'm not impartial to going to Texas, not impartial to going to Cali, not impartial to going to Georgia. Wherever there's good football being played, the Rockets will go.
I want to listen. I'm being selfish here. I want to bring a really good team down to play you because yours truly has never seen a game at Traz.
Yeah, I think Traz Powell, man. For people to see the exposure and like the history and just the blueprint of Dade County football at Traz, I think that that'll be a good experience as well.
Yeah, we're going to keep working hard for you. We're going to, I've already started sending some emails out to some teams in the power states, Cali, Texas, trying to get them to come to Miami. So I'd love to, how we do events all around the country. We do like, Broward versus the USA. Why not do a freaking Dade County versus USA or Miami versus USA?
That's what I'm saying. Why not do it? We got some great football here in Dade County. You know what I'm saying? Like Booker T. Washington, Christopher Columbus, Miami Northwestern, Miami Central. We can all meet at Mecca and see what's going on.
That's right. Well, that's a priority. We're going to try to do that for 2024. Rest assured, that's on our to-do list. Tell us a little bit more about. I'm looking at a name right now, like Nitro Baker. Tell us more about some other players that are way under the radar, like maybe a rising sophomore. Is there anybody left to talk about as far as this year's roster?
I could go on for days. Like you already hit it on the head with a Nitro Baker. That kid is a dynamic kid. They can't put him in a box.
And coach, and you got and to boot, you have King Davis also now.
Oh, King Davis by himself. He's listen, that running back room. I've got King Davis, Nitro Baker, Nicholas McCall. Nicholas McCall was our back last year who came on late. 50 carries, 601 yards, and 10 touchdowns through the playoffs. And then of course we've got Jaden Ford, who's lightning in a bottle. We've got Jaden Toussaint. I've got 5 running backs. A lot of times people may think like, yo, how can you do it with 5 running backs with one ball?
Cool.
Our offensive coordinator is a genius, Alexander Snipes. He's done it so many times. He's coached elite backs after elite back. He always says, hey, I did it with Dalvin Cook, and I did it with James Cook. I can do it with them too.
That's right.
But I mean, those guys by themselves are gonna just burst onto the scene. A sensational junior that I got coming up, Sekou Smith. This kid is playing free safety for me. Man, he's gonna take the high school football world by storm. I'm telling you, this kid is gonna break some records this year. And then I've got guys like Timothy Massey, Khalil Sterling, guys, a wide receiver, Terrell Short Jr. Man, one thing about it, and 2 things for sure. Just looking at how competitive this team is, we've got talent all over, and a lot of these guys are rising sophomores, rising freshmen, and we got some seniors sprinkled here and there. But I tell you something, they're looking and they're waiting for their opportunity to shine bright on those big platforms. And what's an even bigger platform than playing at Vegas against Bishop Gorman?
Mm-hmm.
Coach, on the defensive side of the ball, you're going to have an elite front 7 this year. Is this one of your best defensive fronts this year?
On paper, Larry. Let's reiterate
You keep
that.
saying that. You keep saying that.
On paper, because I believe football is played on the field. But just looking at their tenacity and their attention to detail and how they've been working, they have a chance to rival my 2020 defensive front, where I had 4-star Wesley Bassane, 4-star Terrence Lewis at linebacker, who went to Maryland, and Ruben Bain. We had a lot of guys in the 2020 team, but this group right here, they're young,
Yeah,
but they are talented, and they are football guys who take their craft seriously, and I just can't wait to see them enjoy the fruits of their labor come kickoff classic and first game of the season.
Hey, Coach, who do you have? Remind me who you have kickoff classic.
We have Ocala Vanguard. It's
Mm-hmm.
a team down here in Florida. They went on a deep playoff run. I think they're in 3S.
Yep.
I'm
So I got a question for you. A lot of the events that we put on around the country, they're in that week 0, which is a kickoff classic week for you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you allowed to leave the state that weekend, or must you now going forward have to play that game in Florida?
Have to play that game in Florida. We're not allowed to do week 0. Yeah.
Larry, there goes your lounge opportunity for the Florida Georgia Challenge.
Yeah, that was the last time you guys played Heritage.
Yeah,
that was last season.
So it's like we got to play.
And what they changed the rule shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a drag. There's so many great events around the country that weekend, and nobody from Florida can go.
We played Bosco week 0, and things like that. And we played I know we played St. Francis, I think week 1 or week 0 a couple of years back. So those were usually those are allotted for national games.
Right.
But, so we got we're relegated to week 1 and week 2.
Yeah. Coach, I want to ask you a personal question, if you don't mind.
No problem.
You've been doing this for a while, and you've got a lot of success at the high school level. But with success comes people at higher levels. They start knocking on your doors like, Coach Joseph, we got this opportunity over here. What's next for Coach Joseph? Because a lot of you, even at the high school level, what we're seeing is a lot of high school coaches in Florida are starting to migrate up north to Georgia and Alabama, where the pay might be a little bit better, that kind of stuff. What's next for Coach Jube Joseph?
I'll be honest with you, I haven't given that any much thought. I've just been so focused on the drive for 5 and just trying to be the best coach that I could be for my kids today, tomorrow, and next week. So I haven't really given that much thought. I'm just having a blast right now, coaching for the school that's in the neighborhood that I grew up in, and coaching kids that are walking the same streets that I walked, and
Yeah.
me actually knowing that I went to school with a lot of their parents, so play ball with their dad, or what I'm saying, like that. So that's really what I'm focused on right now. The drive for five, and trying to get that first back-to-back national championship in South Florida.
It sounds like you're a big community focused guy. Am I right on that?
Yeah, pretty much. Because I was coaching all over, the state of Florida.
Yeah.
I did some time at Godby in Tallahassee. I did some time at Tallahassee Lincoln, and I was at North Marion in Ocala. And I just always wanted to get back home, to be able to, I mean, granted, coaching those places were great, learned a lot, met a lot of great people, but nothing's like, going back home and coaching where you grew up at, what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And being able to cultivate and be an impact in your community.
And Coach, tell us, with the hashtag you always use, neighborhood heroes, your players they're truly heroes in the community, right?
Very much so. They take that seriously, and I always tell them that they're role models, not only on the field but in the hallways and in the community. Even today, we all went together to church, the neighborhood church, and praised, and with the community. They're always at the parks, try to help out the younger kids and be like team coaches and things of that nature, and doing service projects for the community. And that's just really a lot of times in the inner city. I feel like that narrative of, oh, you got to get out, you got to get out. It's like, no, I want my kids to know that, even if you make it out, come back and give back, and that's the biggest thing for me.
Coach, so we've talked about a lot of success, and I know you've already emphasized several times on paper, you look like a really, really good team.
Mm-hmm.
But as a good team prepares for this upcoming season, I got to ask you this. There's usually some challenges that lie ahead of you. What challenges do you see for this team going into 2023?
The only challenge I see for them going into 2023 is just being for us, just being together, getting that continuity, gelling, and making sure that they're all playing as one. It's a lot of people think that it's easy to coach talented kids, but that's in itself in today's society with these egos and this me personality.
Yeah.
And that's not even the kids, that's the parents. So
Right.
once you get past that, you know what I'm saying, and you get them to buy into, it's not about you, it's about us, and they buy into that mindset of family and togetherness, and, that type of stuff, and we'll be all right, and the way I've been seeing their summer practices going, because I watch them with an analytical eye. I evaluate them. I say you're constantly being evaluated. I watch everything that you do, be it social media, be it in the locker room. I'm constantly, because I need to know how are you guys interacting with one another. It's a team sport. We're coaching a dying thing, which is team sports, an individual-based society where the individual is pushed. We're coaching a team sport and trying to get people to understand that, working together for a common goal is essentially, the prize. Because at the end of the day, everybody's not going to go to the NFL. But everybody's going to have to wake up one day and get a job. You're going to have to either work with someone or for someone, or either if you own your own company, you still going to have to work for your customers who you're serving. So, you got to know how to interact with people. So, and that's my biggest thing is our interaction with each other. That's probably the biggest challenge, but it's coming along just fine. And it's just more time. It'll be where it needs to be.
Hey, Coach, I have one more challenge for you. Okay, one of the reasons I love your team is you got the same colors and the same logo as my favorite NFL team. One of your guys is here this week visiting the Jets, so put in a good word for us, please. All right, put in a good word with Dalvin to become a Jet.
You left him speechless there, Joe.
I lost you for a second. What were you saying?
I was saying, the colors I wear, they match yours, and one of your guys is here this weekend interviewing with the Jets. So please put in a good word with us for us.
Oh, we'll do. Will do. Matter of fact, I'll hit him tonight. Let him know.
Yeah, let him know. Let him know that white helmet with the green stripe and that logo would look good on him again, like it did in high school.
That'll bring it back. That'll bring him back to the old days.
There you go.
Hell yeah! The first time I ever saw you guys live was you came in and beat my son's team, Don Bosco Prep, like 52-14 or something like that. And him and Jube were unbelievable that night. I'll never forget it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if he gets that running back gig with the Jets, he'll move up by me. We can go to Don Bosco games together, and he can relive his youth.
That's it. Hey, I think I met one of the coaches of that team. I think he coaches at Rutgers now. He's a DB coach or something like that. He said he was the defensive coordinator for that team back in the day.
Yep. Yeah, that was when you guys really, I mean, you're always traveling, but that's when you really remember Bosco was winning national championships. They won 2 in 3 years, and you come up and I remember the first half was not kind of close, but you blew it open in the second half, and that was it. That opened the gates for Miami Central, in my opinion, on a national level.
Another thing we lost.
They beat De La Salle in California. They beat Aquinas. You beat them, and that put you on the map.
Yeah, for sure it did.
Yep. So
Coach,
keep up the good work in that respect, and I hope to come down there and present you with another #1 trophy.
Yes, sir. We'll do.
Coach, thank you so much for joining us once again. Listen, you keep winning. We keep inviting you back. So, man, there's no stopping the Jube Joseph train.
Put me a little slot there, man. I'll be a co-host, man.
Hey,
absolutely, Coach.
Hey,
I love it when you come on.
If I didn't know any better, I'd say we're your good luck charms.
Pretty much. Hey, it worked once. Let's do it again, guys.
All right, cool.
All right, Coach Joseph. Listen, next year I want to see Miami Central up in Lowndes.
Hey,
let's do it.
All right,
absolutely. Now. Well, Coach Joseph, thank you so much for joining us here on National High School Football. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Thank you, sir.